Honda believes the 21st century will see further great advances towards safer, more environment-friendly cars that are fun to drive, and Honda will be leading the way.
All the greatest Hondas have been powered by petrol, from the original NSX supercar and S2000 Roadster to the Type R performance cars and the fabulous McLaren Honda MP44 that won most races in 1988 at the hands of Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost. So when the Japanese car maker produces its first model with no petrol tank whatsoever, it's time to sit up and take notice. This is one of the electric cars of the moment, and it's proof positive that it's not only Elon Musk who has bragging rights to making desirable EVs. It's achingly cool, and we reckon you can swap that Honda badge for a Californian Tesla, or maybe even an Apple logo, and nobody would bat an eyelid. It's not quite as characterful as the slammed urban EV concept car from 2017, but nobody has come up to me in the past half year and complained that this road-going version was too boring. The Honda E production car is only 3.9 metres long, which is basically two of me. It's very, very small, and there's not a big boot, so just remember that. But the styling is just fabulous. It's got these round, cartoonish headlamps here, the black panel and the charging flap and roof contrasting with the charred yellow paintwork. It's got these deliciously retro 17-inch alloy wheels, cameras for door mirrors, pop-out door handles, and you can even use NFC on your mobile phone to unlock the car. But if you thought the exterior was cute, come and have a look at the inside. This is a real statement interior, unlike anything else you will find at this price point. It genuinely could be a baby Tesla. And it's also quite roomy up front. You've got a completely flat floor enabled by the rear-wheel drive EV architecture, and it's dominated by these twin 11-inch touchscreens, which operate virtually everything. But usefully, Honda has kept some hard buttons as well, which is perfect because I don't really want to be lost in a labyrinth of sub-menus if I just want to turn the temperature up a couple of degrees. Honda has really let its hair down, and you can even choose different desktop screensavers like this aquarium or a forest. They've stopped short of outright gimmickry, and the infotainment is actually quite foolproof and remarkably resistant to greasy fingerprints. It's much less distracting on the move than you might fear. The screens run wall to wall, and they're bookmarked by digital rear view cameras, which save 3.8% off the drag coefficient. Every extra mile matters in this car, as we'll discover. It's all very fresh, modern and distinctive in here. I mean, look, it's got this wool-like material on the seats, a little leather-handled cup holder that pops out from here. Just trust us, we think you're going to really love it in here. So the cabin is fabulous and futuristic, but let's see if the drive matches the looks. Like all electric cars, the Honda E is very quiet and refined. You almost feel like you have a virtual halo over your head as you drive along, surrounded by petrol and diesel cars belching out fumes into the environment. It's very good, this. It's really soothing. It's good for your mental health, your well-being. We highly recommend it. The Honda E reminds us of the BMW i3 and how it drives. There's a mature sophistication to its road manners, and it has a well-judged weight and response to every control. It's really quite heavy for a small car. It weighs nearly 1.6 tons, but that extra heft does help the ride comfort. It feels very composed, it really does. It's very cosseting in here. And yet with that rear-wheel drive chassis, Honda's done a really good job of making it feel quite agile. It's quite nimble for a small EV, and it turns into corners with real gusto. Like the baby BMW, the Honda is rear-wheel drive, and because there is no bulky combustion engine under the bonnet, it means the front wheels can turn to ludicrous angles for a London taxi-style turning circle. This is really useful when parking or pulling a U-turn. Now this button here activates regenerative braking, and what that does is it very cleverly, when I ease off the accelerator, it means that the electric motor is going to harvest and recuperate all the energy wasted during deceleration and pop it back in the battery. And this is a good thing because we need every extra mile of range we can possibly get our hands on in this car. It'll be very familiar to children of the 1980s who may remember those dynamos on our bicycles designed to power our lights. It also means the car can be driven in one pedal mode. You really hardly ever have to use the brakes, and it's a very relaxed way of driving. Performance from the 113 kilowatt electric motor is peppy enough, but this is no rocket ship. Honda quotes 0 to 62 miles an hour in 8 seconds, and top speed is capped to 100 miles an hour. But you know what? I think performance is really well judged. It's quite enough. It's got lots of pep around town, and even on country roads like this, there's a real elastic twang of acceleration all the way up to motorway speeds, even if it doesn't have quite the outrageous punch of a Tesla Model 3. Now, enjoy all that performance too much, and the battery will empty remarkably quickly, and it won't be long before you need a charge, otherwise the dreaded range anxiety kicks in. This is a deliberate move, and Honda claims that more than 90% of journeys are fewer than 100 miles. So why bother with the bigger, bulkier, more expensive batteries you find in long-range Teslas and German EVs? It's really easy to charge up. You just pop the flap, plug in, and wait. And that's the thing about the Honda E. There's a lot of waiting around, which is fine if you like gaming or hanging out in service stations, catching up on chores, but it's quite a faff for anyone who does more than just the school run every day. It's totally defined by its small battery. If you live in London or Liverpool, chances are this won't be a problem. But we found the claimed 125-mile range shrank to nearer 80 miles in the cold winter months, and this really restricted the car's appeal. Feels like it's relegated to being a second or third car, a mere city runaround. Of course, this is something at which the Honda E excels. There's not many cars I'd rather be in around a city centre. It's so well suited to it. It's kind of practical and perky, stylish and sassy, modish and modern. It's expensive to buy and cheap to run. Every time we topped up the battery at home, it cost me about £5, and it genuinely feels like a baby Tesla, but with the build quality and engineering integrity of a Honda. Company founder Sashiro Honda was a technical pioneer, and his single-minded determination really shaped the greatest Hondas in the back catalogue. Now, I know he loved his high-revving petrol engines, but I believe he would have been at the vanguard of the electric revolution. And you know what? I think the E is a pretty fitting legacy